Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today I'm going to share with you probably my favorite so far of the things that we can make using powdered milk that are in the cheese family. And of course, I'm including with that things that are not quite cheese, like yogurt, and today's video, which is on sour cream. So I have done some practice batches with this, and I really love it. This probably comes closest to the taste of the original of anything that I've done so far using powdered milk. We're going to be on the cultured side today. So cultured means, of course, as you all know by now if you've been following this series of videos, it means that we're going to inoculate with some live bacteria. So I keep learning new things about cheese making, or in this case, sour cream making. And that is that these bacteria, some of them are thermophilic, which means they love or they're attracted to or they prefer heat. And others are mesophilic, which means moderate temperature. So some prefer warm to hot temperatures in order to really reproduce and create the thickening that we like in these products. And then the others you can just leave out at room temperature. Or if your kitchen is especially cold, just find a warm spot. We're going to do this two ways. The first way is by using an inoculation of sour cream that is found in the store. The other is inoculating it with a culture that I purchased online. This comes from New England Cheese Making Supply Company. They have everything that you need. One of the things that I neglected to say when we were doing yogurt, and one of our viewers asked, well, after we've made the yogurt and we need to make a new batch, and if it's not available in the stores anymore, if fresh yogurt isn't available in the stores anymore, how can we continue? What I neglected to mention is you can use your fresh made yogurt as the culture for the next batch if you do it in 3 or 4 days. The same is now true for sour cream. We can use what we make as the inoculant for new batches. Now, after several generations, it is going to change in taste. It's going to not be as effective. So one of the things that I want to now recommend is that we also have in our food storage the freeze-dried that we can purchase, the freeze-dried bacteria in packages, so that we will have the option of starting fresh batches whenever we need it. And then we can go several more batches with each of these. Now this has 5 little packets on the inside. I've not opened this. I've not ever worked with this before. So this one is going to be a learning curve. This took forever to arrive after I ordered it. And this little packet was $11, and it has 5 packets in it. So that's just a little more than $2 a piece for these batches. But once you calculate that cost over several batches, you can see how inexpensive it is to make our own. And I do believe that it's important to have some of these dried cultures on hand, both for sour cream, if you and your family enjoy sour cream, and also for yogurt. The one drawback is that these are required to be kept in your freezer. Now that fits right along with our level 1 integration of our freezer, refrigerator, and pantry, provided that we have an off-grid option for powering our freezers. And we just did a video on that. And so if you have not seen that video, and it has to do with our Bluetti power stations, please watch that video so you can see us as we go through some trials on which of our Bluettis is the best for running. We have 2 freezers that we want to keep operational. And so we do that. In fact, I'm going to put the card just right up here so that you can just click on that card. At the end, I will put links to our other cheese making videos. So let's proceed. Now we're going to be using powdered milk today. Now, because as I have read these directions, it says heat 1 quart of light cream, or half and half, to 86 degrees, that's 30 centigrade. Add 1 packet and let it rehydrate for 2 minutes, then stir to dissolve. Cover and set in a warm area 12 to 24 hours or until thickened. Refrigerate and enjoy. So that is easy enough. So I'm now going to open this for the first time and retrieve one of these little packets on the inside. Okay, so this is what the packet looks like. And it says right on the front, best by September of 24. So this now is going back in the freezer. All right, so we went off camera for a minute and I got tap water. Now, if you are going to use milk or cream, you'll need to heat it to 86 because I am going to be using powdered milk, and it does say on the back of that packet that we can use skim milk, so I'm just going to use this powdered milk. It needs to be at 86 degrees. So I took a second and got some water that was up to, and actually this is a little bit hotter. This right now is 89, but by the time I mix the milk with it, it's going to be about the right temperature. So there's our quart of water. Now this milk, as I have mentioned in another of our videos, I ran out of the first batch of powdered milk, so we opened one of our older cans, number 10 can of powdered milk that we have had for almost 20 years. This is 19 plus years old, not quite 20, maybe close to 20. And this takes 2/3 of a cup of the powder to mix up 1 quart of milk. And then just because I want a little bit more protein in there, I'm going to put that was probably about 2 extra tablespoons. Then I'm going to mix this up. It mixes really quickly, thankfully. Okay, now I'm going to open this, and Jim can come up close. And we're just going to sprinkle this on the top. So it's a white powderish. Now they want us to let that rehydrate for a couple of minutes. So while it rehydrates, we're going to move over here. Now, as I was reading and actually waiting for this freeze-dried culture to arrive, I just thought, I'm just so frustrated. It's taking so long for that to get here. It took like 3 weeks. I think they must have been between batches or something, because usually it doesn't take that long. There's got to be another way to make sour cream, and there is. I did find a recipe from one that it looked like it was pretty good, and I tested it, and whoo, it was fantastic. And that was with sour cream that says cultured on the label. So this is Tillamook cultured sour cream. Now, I don't know if it is available in your area, but I imagine that there will be a brand that is cultured. And then you should be able to look on the back, and I want to read you the ingredients to this one. Ingredients: cultured pasteurized cream, enzymes, and then it gives, it looks like 2 varieties of bacterium, and then milk. And that's all that is in this one. This one is non-cultured. This is meadow gold. Most of the ones in our grocery store are just like this. They are not cultured. We had to look and look to find one that was cultured. Listen to these ingredients: cultured cream and skim milk, whey, modified cornstarch, that's for thickening, gelatin, that's for thickening, sodium phosphate, guar gum, that's for thickening, something that I can't pronounce, another one that I can't pronounce, calcium sulfate, locust bean gum. So they have, this is essentially milk that they have gotten to the right flavor, and then they have thickened it with those other ingredients rather than allowing the bacteria to thicken it. So I'm no longer going to buy sour cream that is not cultured. I don't want that extra stuff in it. And besides, making my own is going to take just about 5 minutes to mix up, because this and this is the way that I'm going to go. For this one, I'm going to start with just a cup. I thought I was going to start with 2 cups, but I went off camera for a minute and double checked the recipe that is going to be in your downloadable recipe sheet for these cheeses, and we're still on V2, which is version 2, which will include these recipes. Version 2 will include all recipes except for mozzarella. And mozzarella, I still need more time to work on. I have not yet made that, so I need to perfect that recipe. And then version 3 will be the final one with all recipes. So I'm going to set this jar aside, and we're just going to add 1 cup of water to our bowl right here. And then remember, it calls for 2/3 cup of powder for 1 quart. 1/3 cup would make a pint, and half of a third would make a cup. But I'm going to put in just a couple of extra tablespoons of this powder. So now we're done with this. I'm going to mix this up. I love how fast this mixes, being 19 years old. And then I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup of cultured sour cream. So this has the live bacteria in it because it is cultured. And we're going to mix this up. And now this one is ready to culture for 12 to 24 hours until it thickens. This one we can now mix in so the bacteria are spread evenly throughout the liquid. And I'm going to cover both of them. And we're going to leave them out on the counter for 12 to 24 hours. Last time I made this one, it did take overnight, so it was about 24 hours. The taste, the resulting taste of anything that we do on this side with the cultures depends on a couple of things. Number one, it depends on the specific bacterium that is used for the culture, and then the amount of time that we let it culture. And generally speaking, the longer we culture, the more the bacteria reproduces itself, and the stronger the taste, the more tangy the taste. But it doesn't keep going and going. It reaches a point where it levels off and then starts to drop. So keep your fingers crossed, and I'm excited. So we will see you tomorrow. Good morning. It is just a few minutes shy of 24 hours since we set these out on our countertop to culture. And last night when we went to bed, they were still very, very liquidy. So overnight is when it happened, and I'm sure it was slow. And we have success. This is the sour cream that came from the previous sour cream. It looks like there is some whey there. I was not expecting that. It didn't happen last time, so I'm going to drain that whey. So we'll just dump it right here, let that whey drain out. But I do want to give you my impression as I taste this. It's delicious. It is absolutely delicious. There is no hint whatsoever of the powdered milk, none. So it did not do this on my test run, but the Tillamook yogurt has been sitting in my refrigerator for 2 weeks too, so that may have affected it just a little bit. But I'm not a bit concerned about it. It's not all that much whey. And once this is drained, we're going to put it into this jar and then refrigerate it. So let's check the other one. Beautiful, beautiful sour cream. There does not appear to be any whey, maybe a little. I probably am going to drain this one as well. Yes, I am. But let's give it a taste. Whoa. This one is much more tangy than the other one is. The other one is mild. It reminds me of sour cream. This is a little bit of a different taste to sour cream. It's very good. And I now have a quart of it. But I'm also going to allow it to, yes, it has some whey as well. So I'm going to let it drain. And then we will come back after everything is drained and in the jars and ready to go into the refrigerator. So this was a little bit of a different, kind of a surprise for me, but we can make it work just fine. Here's how I did the other one. The other one is thicker, but it came out of the strainer lumpy like this one did. And so I just took my little whisk and I whisked it until it got very, very smooth. So, and regular sour cream that you buy from the grocery store separates too. I'm sure all of you have seen that. When I opened the Tillamook to get ready to inoculate this one, I drained off some of the whey at that time too. So this is not really out of the ordinary. I'm going to rinse this whisk and then I'm going to come back and whisk up the other one. The good thing is that, let's see, I want to keep these separate. When I make my next batch of sour cream, which will be a while because I've got a quart of it right here, and this is quite liquidy, but it thickens up when it is chilled. So I'm going to go ahead and pour these into the jars and let them chill. And then I think I'll come back later this afternoon and show you the results after they have completely chilled. So I will see you then. Here we are again. It is almost 6 hours later and these are both completely chilled. Now this one has really set up nicely. This is how it looks mounted up on a spoon. So it's thick and lush and really nice. And because it is now chilled, oh, it just tastes fantastic. And of course, it tastes just like the Tillamook because that was what the inoculant was. So this is great. Now, this one does not mount up on a spoon. It just drips. So and we can solve this problem, I think, and let me just taste it. It tastes great. I don't care for the taste of this one as much as I do the one we inoculated with the Tillamook. But I think what needs to happen with this, and one of the things that I have noticed as I have worked with making all of these recipes with powdered milk, is that especially with recipes that were intended for regular milk or cream or half and half, the powdered milk, when it's reconstituted, is far more thin. And I'm sure you all know that. It only makes sense because the butter fat has been removed from the powdered milk. So I usually even sometimes double up on the amount of powder per what is called for in the recipe. So with this is supposed to make a quart, and of course we got rid of a lot of the whey, and so it's down just a little bit. But next time I make this, I think what I will do is just make 2 cups instead of a quart with the same little packet. And that should give it enough of the solid part of the powdered milk to thicken it up just a little bit. So this won't really work for sour cream unless we're going to pour it on something, which there are some recipes that would work just fine. I could use this in making my a pan full of enchiladas and that sort of thing. It would be good for that, more like a cream sauce rather than a sour cream. But this is perfect sour cream that we made with the Tillamook. So I think we have had a success, and we can now add sour cream to our board. So this is pretty exciting. We have done an awful lot with powdered milk. We only have one more, and it's going to be going on this side, and that is mozzarella. And so that one will be forthcoming, but I will need a little bit of time to work on it to get it ready. All of this takes a lot of time to try to practice and figure things out and make sure that I have the proportions accurate. Now, one of the things that this is a great demonstration of is that there are so many different brands of powdered milk and types of powdered milk. There's instant, and then there's just the regular. And recipes will often call for an amount of powder to an amount of liquid, rather than saying reconstitute a quart and then use that quart. And so I have really had to experiment around, and you may as well. You may have to do some experimenting with whatever brand and type of powdered milk you have. And so as you look at the recipes on the downloadable page, just know that those work for the powdered milk that I have been working with. And I've given you my best shot. You still might need to adjust the amount of powder per the amount of water when you are reconstituting. So it might take you a time or two before you get it just right for your brand of powdered milk. But I think that we have done a lot of really successful recipes, and I'm very pleased with these. This has certainly increased my own learning curve about what we can do with powdered milk. So use my recipes as a starting point, and then be sure that you take notes. You can use that same page, or you can start your own notebook, but take notes on what works for you so that you don't lose it. That's what I do. I make notations right on a recipe, and then I make a new copy of it. So thank you so much for being with us. I think this really was a great success. We learned a lot, and we came out with a successful recipe for sour cream using the store-bought cultured sour cream as the inoculant. And I think we could get there with this one, provided we doubled up the powder to the water, or just used half as much water, which is essentially the same thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate all of you so much, and we will see you very soon for another video.